Hi there, this is Akinjani, and welcome to the Unlimited. You deserve to lead the life that you have always dreamed of. You deserve to be the best version of yourself. You deserve that. And you have the potential within, and you can take it out if you know how to use the information, the skills to bring it out. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to explain to you how you can live your dream, how you can take all those hidden potential to be the person that you want to be and to live the way you want to live. Uh, Many often we want to have the best relationship, the best, friends, the best life, everything the best. But how often do you live that life? It's not often. Now, I'm not saying that, you can live ever happily ever after. I'm not talking about such an utopian place, but I'm talking about just, the kind of life that you deserve to live. Because I know the pain, the suffering, the struggle that you're going through, because I was there once. I was depressed. I was stressed out. I didn't have any idea where I was going. I was broken and I didn't have any financial freedom. So I was lost, abandoned, beaten up, called mistake many times. But if I could, come from that far, after a lot of physical, mental, emotional abuse, if I could come from that far, I think you can come too. And here is the thing. Not only you can come, but you deserve it. You deserve it. And here, I'm going to give you the knowledge, the skills, and the information necessary to build that life. Now, this is not the information that I made up. It has always been there, been a part of research, study, and after time to time, it has been revealed that information is so powerful. And if you know how to use this, if you know how to use information, if you know how to use the skills, then you can bring or change whatever that you want to. We live in an information world. Ever since we were born into this world, we were bombarded with information. We look around, we see the information. Wall, books, right? Light, mommy, daddy, everything's just information. Even you are informations. For example, right now, if I were to take the part of your brain, hypothalamus, from your brain, you would lose almost all of your, not every, but almost all of your memory. And if I were to take it out, probably then you wouldn't be you anymore. You would not have anything to remember. And you would probably lead a completely different life. You would not even have an identity. Now, I'm not saying that your identity, whatever that you are, that's here in your hypothalamus. I'm not saying it's a place where your memory is buried. And memory is information. So if that major part of the information is gone, then it's like you are gone. For people who surround you, maybe it's not for you, but for the people who surround you. For them, you no longer you are, because you don't behave, you don't act, you don't talk, you don't communicate the way you do. That's what happens if hypothalamus is taken away from you. So information reveals who we are. Right now, even when I'm talking, I'm using my language, words, I'm using my body language, I'm using my, the way I stand, sit, and talk, everything, just information. Even right now I'm talking is because of the information that I have gained so far. And what I did is I just, I'm going to present it to you in a way that's really more understanding so that you can use it. So it's all about information. to every morning you wake up and you go to a bathroom, you have you brush your teeth and you come back, you have your, you have something really delicious and you go to your college or work or office, and just imagine the things that you do the whole day, just all pieces of informations, right? Your brain tells you, okay, wake up, this is daytime, and you wake up and you go out, you see your mom, and you know exactly what to talk to her because that's what you were conditioned to hear in your brain. So you take out those words and you exchange, and she exchanges something. It's all just pieces of information. And if you have this a machine that actually peers into your brain and tells all the things that that are going on inside your brain, probably what you would see is this: neurons communicating, talking each other. And each time you say something, you do something, you remember something, you see something, or you hear something, or you smell something, what happens is neurons in your brain or cells in your brain, they share informations, they share messages through electric signals. And when they share information, that's when you remember, that's when you feel, that's when you smell. So this communication of this information, messages, signals, electrical signals, that's what defines you. Now, my question is, for example, just imagine you have a beautiful house and it has been electrified, and but one of the room doesn't have any lights because the wire that's going to that room is cut off, right? So what do? We need to just rewire it. We need to connect those wires, and then you can see the dark room now will become a light room. So it's the same like that. So I have, I can use my hands really well because the part of my brain that deals with this hand, the movement of my hand functions really well. And, I can talk to you really well because, the part of my brain that deals with the language actually functions really well. And the reason why I'm talking to you in English is because that English language, the information of English, words, sounds, and spellings all are stored in my brain. That language is stored in my brain. So that now what I do is I take the information and give it to you. It's all informations. Information defines us. Information takes us to places. Information, helps us to invent things. We use information in everyday lives, and we still don't know this. Years back, I think when I was with my friend, we were having a coffee at a cafe, and he was talking to me. And while he was talking, he suddenly talked about my girlfriend. And the moment he talked about her, I began to fidget from the seat. I couldn't sit there. And, I felt a sudden cold on my chest, and I felt really stressed out. And I told him that I would be back, and I just stood and walked off. I walked to a shop, and I asked the shopkeeper to give me a cigarette. And when I was taking that cigarette, I asked myself, what am I doing? What am I doing? Right? I was just a minute before was there having a conversation, and we were just enjoying the time. But suddenly, the moment he began to talk about my girlfriend, now she was my ex-girlfriend. So the moment he began to talk about her, that completely changed me. And I asked myself, how could that information change me? How could that information change my physiology? How could it change my mental state? Right? How could it change my mood? Till then, I was happy. Now I'm not. So I asked myself, what happened? How could that information know? So this is what I asked myself. What did he give me? What did he say? He said something. So what is that? What is it that he gave? He gave pieces of information. And that's the first time in my life that I thought information as powerful. That is the first time when I realized that information is powerful, because until that time, I never knew it. Then I realized, oh my God, he gave me information, but that information changed me. How is that possible? Holy cow, information changes. It changes the reality. For example, imagine if the information, and this is actually a spoon, if you change the information in the spoon, the state of the information, the state of this spoon also changes, because all the elements, it just contains the information. It contains the information, how the protons moves and how the electron moves and how many of them are, and based on its movement, whether it's up or down, based on its movement, the reality changes. So the movement, how frequent and how how they move, whether it's up or down, that's what information is in an atomic world, because we live in an atomic world. We are atoms. We are made up of atoms. And if you change this information within that atom, what happens is that the reality completely changes. And that's one of the reasons why, that's why we say in physics, we learned that energy never dies. It transforms. Remember? It transforms. It transforms one state to another state. And that's the same thing about information. It changes one state from another state. So we are driven by the information, and that information, once, if that information changes, our identity changes. Imagine that information, if the information in my head, if it is changed, or if it is, if I get more information, which actually helps the present information to expand to my career, just imagine how would it affect my personal life. Just imagine now you are a teacher, maybe a professor, right? Now just imagine you decide to add this, a book of information. This is here I have one of my favorite book. Yeah, this is Thinking Fast and Slow. Okay, this is written by Daniel Kahneman. He's a Nobel Prize winner. Now imagine you are a professor and now you add all the information to your brain. What would happen? This is one of the excellent book that deals with this, thinking fast and so slow, how our brain thinks. Now imagine if you were to just add this information, all the skills, all the things, all the information this book contains. The thing is, you would your life completely changes, because your reality changes. And that, therefore, that information, whatever that you're adding to your life, will have a complete, a very deep impact on your personal life. This is one of the reasons why when people, they go through traumatic experience, they come out of it, and sometimes they go into a very depressive mood. Otherwise, they completely changes their lives, and they help others to transform their lives too. Now we see this. We actually listen to people who transform their lives from being the worst guy to the best one. Now we have seen such stories. And remember, what happened was something happened in their lives, basically, and they just have to deal with it. So all those experiences were just informations enter into the brain, right? But some people, they use that information for their growth, and they turned out to be, great people who then transforms others. And for some people, that information completely destroys them, and they give up, and they're depressed, don't want to, go out and meet people. So they give up their dreams. They stop exploring, expanding, and growing. So that information, in fact, completely changes their lives too, but in a different way. So information completely changes how we see the world. Now imagine, I'm from India, and since I'm from India, the kind of background, the kind of culture, the kind of tradition, and the kind of a social construct that I am in, it molds me, it changes me, it shapes me, it shapes my language, it shapes my behavior, it shapes how I see the world, it shapes how I see justice, and how I think about others. And if I were to born in America or USA or Britain, probably the way I see the world would be completely different, because the information now I have, and probably the person, if I were to born in UK or USA, the information that I might have are completely different, right? So information changes reality. Information is powerful. And if you know, the question is, if you know how to change this information, you're going to change your life. You're going to change your reality. And here, you're going to learn how to change that information, how to change your belief, your personality, your character, your behavior, and your belief and your fears. And then by building a character, a confident character, to meet people, to meet new opportunities, and to say yes to adventures, and to embrace you as you are, and to go forward. So let me take you back to the story that I began. I was at a cafe. So that was the first time when I realized the power of communication. What I did was, while I was going back, I was half happy, I was half sad, because in the one hand, he began to talk about my ex-girlfriend that actually reminded me of all the older times, and I was thinking about, oh my God, that was a great time. Oh my God, the moment we shared together. So I was thinking about it on the one hand, and the other hand, I was thinking about the information world. Oh my God, I discovered something. Now I have something to work on. So I was working on there. So how could I use this information to completely change my life? So I was thinking about the whole thing about, okay, so I wanted to change my life. So how can I use this information or this, so I wanted to develop a theory. I wanted to develop a method. So that was, I was thinking about whole time. So I thought about this, and I realized, oh my God, if people, and this is the question that I ask myself, if people could be able to use information for their needs, not for their greeds, not driven by their automatic system or unconscious brain, but to their needs, actual needs. If they were able to understand and get the right information, the thing is they could completely change their lives, because life is all about information. And everything that you have, everything that you possess, everything that you are going to have, driven by the information that you have and that lack of information you have. So if you don't have a particular information that affects your reality, and if you have a particular information that affects your reality, just imagine if you don't know how to behave in a society, that means if you don't have the skills or techniques or the information. Every skill, every technique, or every behavior is information. So if you don't have that information, probably you're going to suck in a social gatherings, right? And soon you will be a social outcast. People don't want to follow with you because you don't behave in a way that social norms or that social environment designed or tell you to behave. You don't follow that norms. So when you don't follow that norms, you are just outcast. This is one of the reasons why. So, all the skills, all the skill sets, all the information, how to behave, how to, be in a society, it's all informations. Now imagine if you have all those information right with you, if you have all the information, how to behave in a particular society. The thing is, you can be the best person there. People follow you because you are an example there. You're a model there. This is one of the reasons why we fall in love with, actors. We love them because in the real, in the film world, in the movies, they show the real model that we all love to follow, right? They reveal to us the real hero that we really wish to become. And so we fall in love with them. And we would love to take pictures with them, love to, go and meet with them and talk with them, or sometimes even dine and, we secretly wish to get married with them, right? And it's because of this information. It's because that they represent something through that movie, through the information they give. They present something, a model, an example that could in fact fulfill our needs. So my question is, if you can use the information, if you can use the information to fulfill your needs, the thing is, you can live your life. And if if you know how to use this, and how to use each of these skills, information, you can redefine your life, rewrite your destiny. No matter where you're in your life, you could be in, anywhere in life. You could be at the bottom line where you are lost, where you don't know how to take your life to the next level. You may be there, but let me tell you this, no matter where you are in your life, you can always take the first step. One step you can take, right? From here to, okay, I'm not going to do something instead, I'm going to do something else. You can just decide that. One thing at a time. So no matter where you're in your life. Now, if you can take one step, you can take another step, and another step, and another step. That's how you grow. You take one step at a time. You don't want to look, the whole step. Oh my God, that's too high to climb. You don't need to. You can take one step at a time. Take one step, one behavior at a time, one talk at a time, communication, one method at a time, slowly. You don't need to, go faster, because it's been a very rough life. It's been a very rough life, and you have suffered a lot. You want to live a better life, and you can, but, at one night or in 24 hours, you cannot flip your life upside down. You cannot do that. If you want to do that, you need to do it one step at a time, one pace at a time. So it requires you practice. It requires you your energy, your time, and your patience. So commit to yourself. Say to yourself, okay, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to have the life that I want to live. Change, commit to yourself. And here's the thing. Here is what you want to do in order to change your behavior. And it's very simple. As I say, it's very simple. It doesn't mean that it is the easy thing to do. It may not be the easy thing, but it's simple. We all can do that. Even a child can do that. It's this. Be conscious. Observe the world around you. That's the first step. No. Just, no, I'm not kidding. Okay. Just close your eyes for a moment. And then imagine the world around you. Just imagine. Just observe. Observe how you feel. Observe how you feel within your body. Just observe your breathing pattern. Just observe. Now, can you do that? If you can, the truth is you can completely change your life. You can do that, right? So this is it. This is a simple thing. Just become conscious. Now, here's the thing. So here is how you do this, right? Just imagine your friend is shouting at you, right? So if your friend is shouting at you, what would you do? Would you just stay there? Hi, he's shouting. That's nice. I love his shouting. The way he shouts, it really rejuvenates me, energizes me. Would you say that? Would you stand there? Would you look at him and say, my good friend is shouting now, and I'm really patiently standing here? Would you say that? Never. You would never do that. You would either give him an extra punch, through words. And you would probably say lots of F words and S words and lots of other words that I'm not really familiar with. And you get away from there, right? This is one of the things you do. Or otherwise, second one is you decide never to talk to him. That's what you do. The second thing. You decide this is the last time. No, I'm goodbye. Okay. So now imagine, you've been a good friend to him for a long time, but now what? He said something. Now you are saying goodbye. This is one of the reasons why many people just decide to divorce. For 2 years, we loved, we have had very nice sex. And now, he said something. I don't like it. I'm going. Just imagine. Many people do that. It's the truth. They simply give up their lives just because, their partner said something that didn't like it, and so decided to leave. They decide to leave. For the first time when they fell in love with their, with their spouse, they said this, whatever happens, I will never leave you. You are my heart. Now, what happened? After 2 years, you're sitting in two different chairs. In those times, you only wanted one, but now you needed two. Perhaps you needed as much as space as you want right now. But in those times, space was a big problem for you. You didn't like space, but now you loved space. You wanted space. What happened? Information, the way we use information changes. So most of the times what happens is, when people go wrong, when people shout at us, when people, threaten us, we do two things. These are the two things we do. Number one, we shout at him back. We do the same thing. They beat me, I beat him. They call me that, I call him this. And the second thing you do is you say goodbye. You write your a letter and tell him, I resign from this job. I don't want to continue this F word, continue anymore. And you leave there. Just think about this, what happened to your behavior? What happened? How you're driven by these two things, like either you fight back or you run away. Why? It's because we are designed that way. Especially when you're threatened. We live in this society, the present society, modern society, for a very short time. It's been only a very short time we've been here. Before that, we had been living in the savannah, in the forest, in the jungle, driven by two needs. Number one, survive. Life matters, nothing else. The only thing that drives you is to save your life. That's what you were most concentrated, focused on when you were living in the forest, and we lived there millions of years. And our brain actually is designed to cope with the environment, with a violent environment. We are not driven by, or we are not, designed to live in a very peaceful society. We are not. We are designed, conditioned to live in a very violent society. And therefore, the two major function of our brain is to take us where it is comfortable, and to take us where away from where it is not comfortable. So we either stay where we are comfortable, or we get away from that place because that's not comfortable anymore. So we run when we see danger, and we run to places where we feel safe. And fear, pleasure, these are the two things. Fear, pleasure, these are the two things that we're driven by. Just imagine, take your life and just think about the times. Every time your life is threatened, there is a friction, there is a conflict, and you fight because you don't like to be threatened, right? So every time there is a fight, there is a danger, there is a threat, you fight, you resist, no. And finally, either you get away from it because this situation is danger, so you get away from it. Otherwise, you fight hard, and you ruin. You reign, right? You win. So this is most of the times we do. We fight hard and we win. Otherwise, when we see that it's a big danger, we run away from it. Now we follow the same pattern now. In our schools, in our colleges, in our office, in our workspace, in our family, in our friend circle, we follow the same thing. When our friend is, giving a gesture of threat, we either give the same thing back, we try to fight, or we escape because that's danger and that is not safe. So we keep away from it. You never stand there and try to understand the person. We never do. And sometimes some people do, but it's very rare. So how do we deal with that situation? How do we deal with it? The best way you can do is you become conscious. You become conscious. Now, why I say you become conscious? Why do I say that? Why do I say, be conscious? How can being conscious can completely change your life? Because most of the times, 90% of the times, you're driven by unconscious brain. The things that you have learned, learned and experienced become part of your unconscious brain. Ever since then you were born into this world, you have been, gathering information, and all this information defines your, defines the path toward future. And this is your map, or this is your system, this is your program, this brain, the information that you have collected so far. And, what happens is each time you collect information, after sometimes you forget those informations, or your brain no longer, remember, just like, it becomes a part of your unconscious system. The reason why your brain does that is because that for your brain, if to be conscious, it requires you energy. You need to just think, analyze, and that requires a lot of energy. And your brain does not want to, actually your brain wants to save energy, doesn't want to waste energy. So as a reason, our brain, it design a system, it's unconscious brain. So where all the information are stored deep in that unconscious part. Therefore, you no longer need to remember or recall. It becomes a part of you. That's one of the reasons when you see a danger, when you just touch a fire, you just immediately take your hands off. Nobody pulls it off. You don't need, okay, this is fire, I want to take my hands off. Okay, I'm taking it off. You don't think about it even, right? The moment your hand is about to touch the fire, even before you take it off, because you know that, because that information comes from a deep part of your brain called unconscious brain. And most of the times, 90% of the time, we are driven by this unconscious part of our brain. And this is why. Now, I'll tell you a story. This story happened years ago. There was this young girl who wanted to see me. So she was there, and she came to see me. She asked me that she had been facing a big challenge in her lives, which is to, for her, it's very difficult for her to swim in the water. In fact, now the place where she lives, now they have a big swimming pool, but she avoids it. All the time she avoids it, but her friends always pursued her, to swim with her, but she avoids. And she for her, it's very shame for her not to swim with them. And she came to see me and she said, I have this problem. I'm afraid of water. And when she said that, I just asked her a few things that happened in her past, and just to try to dig some information about her, because I can only help a person if I really know the information. So I tried to get some information. So I called her parents and everything. I asked her all the details, and I came to know that when she was 2 years old, when she was just 2 years old, she fell in a water, in a small pool, where she almost was drowned to death. And what happened was her unconscious brain actually stored that information, or that severity of that depth of that experience was registered in her brain. Now, the registering process, I often use this word register. The registering process is how your brain stores information by connecting the cells, otherwise the neurons together. So each time you learn something, you go through experience, you see something, neurons connect each other. And this is a learning. The neurons connect each other. And what happens is, as first, this is how it touches, it exchanges ideas. So it touches, it creates a connection. And again, after a long time, what happens is this connection becomes stronger because you're using it. And every time when you use it, this connection becomes stronger, stronger, and stronger, and stronger. And it becomes very stronger that, now this becomes a part of your unconscious brain. Now, this is a network of data, fed in your unconscious brain. Now, this group of neurons, they are deep beneath the layers of conscious brain. And this is one of the reasons why we are not often aware of the particular behavior that we have. So, for example, I have lots of behaviors that I actually, got rid of many years back. And the reason why I got rid of it is because they were really, really nasty behaviors. One of the nasty behavior was I would often, eat my or bite my nail. The reason why I bite my nail, because of course there was nail to bite. That's one of the reasons. And most of the times when I bite nail, I would probably become very nervous. So I had all those behaviors, those behaviors that were ingrained within me, and I did not know that I was biting my nails most of the times. And it was really hard to get rid of that behavior. Once I learned that behavior, it was ingrained, it was registered in my brain, which means it became a part of my, the network. And once it becomes a strong network, it's really hard to break. And that's one of the reasons why you cannot break a habit, because breaking habit is breaking neurons. And the way you break neurons is never to do that, never to follow that. That's how you break neurons. And that's not easy. But I'm going to say you how you can do that, right? So here's the thing. So this girl, she wanted to, she wanted to get rid of this behavior. So I got this information that she was drawn to death when she was 2 years old. And now I was talking to her and I told her about this incident that happened years back. And I actually, described how actually, in fact, made her the way she was that day. She hated water. I told her exactly how it happened. And so we did some behavioral therapies, like she would, I just gave her, and she would sometimes, we would share some stories sitting in the water, sitting in both sides of water, and we would sit there for a long time, and she would just, put her legs there. And at the beginning, it was really difficult for her, because the putting legs in that pool was something really dangerous for her. She felt cold and she felt really afraid, but I helped her. And finally, we reached the, top of the water. And slowly, I was able to help her to, to embrace that pool or swimming, and that, art of swimming. And now she wants to become a swimmer. Imagine that, this is one of the reasons why I say the pieces of information we get in our lives, we store in our brain, defines our future. And if you want to unlearn this, if you want to rewire these, the best thing that you can do is to become conscious. That's one of the reasons. The first step is conscious. Be aware that you're biting your nail. Be aware that you have such a problem. Be aware that you don't have any friends. Be aware that when you speak, you have some problem. Because when you become conscious, when you become aware of the fact that you have some problem, now you recognize it. That's the first thing. You recognize it. When you recognize, you can change it. As long as you don't recognize, you can never change it. And that's why we need to start from being conscious of ourselves. So this is why I gave the name of the book, of my second name of the book, Becoming Conscious, because it's important to become conscious. And if you become conscious of your behavior, if you're nail biting, if you become conscious of your feelings, especially how you feel when you feel depressed, you can take control of that. As long as you're not conscious, you're not taking control, because your unconscious brain is taking control, taking you to different, to different phases of life. What your unconscious brain is doing is just trying to cope with that environment. But most of the times, that way of coping may not be the best option, the best solution. But you have a solution here, and that's what I'm going to tell you, which is to become conscious. That's the first step. Become conscious. Be aware of it. And the best way to become aware is, number one, learn to breathe. Wow. you know, I know that the kind of, facial expression that you have. The reason is because we have learned this, we have heard this many before, but nothing happened. Yeah, it's because you are wrong, you're breathing wrong. Just now, how do we breathe? Just, can you just breathe? Do you know how I used to breathe? I never knew how I used to breathe. I never knew how I actually breathe. It's because it's driven my conscious brain. It's a part of my, my physics. It's part of my physiology, and it's driven my unconscious brain. That's how I am programmed. So therefore, I don't want to know. But sometimes it's necessary to know, because the way you are, the way you should breathe is from your diaphragm, from here, just below your chest. This is where your diaphragm is. Now, take a deep breath. And as you breathe in, your diaphragm expands, and when you place your thumb there, just over your diaphragm and press in. Now breathe in. Remember, the diaphragm expands. That's exactly. Okay. And what you need to do is to practice. This is the first thing. Practice breathing from your diaphragm. Practice breathing from your diaphragm. Why? Now, the secret lies, if you were to ask singers or actors, the best tool, the best exercise that they have is, they would say, breathing exercises. The way they breathe, the pattern they breathe. It's because it's important, because it will help them to become calm, relaxed. And it's necessary to become calm and relaxed, because when you become calm and relaxed, you observe the person. You see, he's shouting. Now, when you become relaxed, you are no longer driven by your unconscious brain. Now you can calm yourself in. And when you can when you calm yourself in, you can tell your body, don't panic. This is not a that situation. There is no lion. There is no bear. There is no crocodile. This is your friend. He's shouting and he's not in a right mood. Helping him out, Now, this language is actually come from this part of the brain, which is called the prefrontal cortex. This is called the prefrontal cortex and front side of the brain. This prefrontal cortex actually tells you to behave nicely. Hey, don't, wear your shirts clearly. There is a woman. She's looking at you. So be careful. Yeah, that's a nice party. Be careful about language. This is children. Don't use F words or S words. Right now, this language, this instruction were actually are given apart from this part of the brain, this frontal cortex, the front side of your brain, which is actually the reasoning part, the decision making part. But you have also a part deep here, the back side of your brain, which is called amygdala. Now, amygdala is the first of the brain, the first brain that has ever evolved. Now, that brain is governed by two principles, which we actually looked back, for some times back. We learned about that human beings, our brain is designed to, designed for two things. Number one, to find comfort. Number two, to survive. So we run away from danger and we seek comfort. This is why we love sex and we hate, people who kill people. We hate them, right? Why? Because that's danger. But sex, it's comfort. It's, wow, it feels good. And this is exactly, we love sex. We don't love conflict, pain, problem. Money is a problem, because when you don't have money, you don't have place in your home. You don't have place in your social, in your society, or some people just feel so. And this is one of the reasons. So you have two brains, this prefrontal cortex and the back side of the brain, which is the amygdala. And amygdala, when there is a danger, your amygdala take control. And the only way you can calm, you can tell your amygdala, hey, there is no problem. Just be careful. Calm there. No problem. It's not fire. It's not earthquake. You can just be there. It's not a lion. There is no snake. You can tell your amygdala by just breathing. And when you just breathe from your diaphragm, you're calming yourself now. Once again. And now you see, oh my God, oh, that's my friend. He's shouting at me. Why? Now you're asking why. Instead of shouting him back. Now you see, oh, there might be something problem. I just wanted to know. Or is it the right time? Or maybe it's not the right time. Okay, so whatever that you're shouting, I'm just leaving right now and I'll be back soon. And if you need any help, please just call me back. Okay, and you go back. You are not driven by anger or despair because you know that person is in trouble, because now you use this part of the brain, this conscious brain. And this is one of the reasons why becoming conscious is the secret to live your dream, to change your behavior, to change your belief, change your fear. And the first way to is just be aware. And the thing is, you can always learn to become aware, to be conscious. You can learn by just observing your language, observing your emotional language, observing your body, observing the environment that you are in. You can learn to practice because it's all art. It's all art. And every skill, we can learn to practice every skill that we have. And that's the beauty of brain. Our brain is designed to change constantly in order to make our life more comfortable, so that now you can practice these skills and you can learn to change your behavior, your emotions, and your personality. And the first way is to become conscious, and second way is to breathe, learn to breathe. So every morning when you wake up, go to your room, meditate, take a deep breath. Now learn to breathe from your diaphragms. Deep breath. And for some people, some coaches, especially some yoga teachers, what they do is they plays, or music teachers, they when they give exercises to their kids, what they do is they give dumbbells and they place it over the diaphragm of children or the people, students, and then they tell them to breathe so that the dumbbell move, stretch, expands, stretch out as they take the breathe in. And as they breathe out, it comes down. So it goes up, comes down. So therefore you can, when you press here, your focus is here on your diaphragm. And that's one of the best way. That's where you can change your physical state. And if you can change your physical state, if you can change how you feel right now, just like you are in a very uncomfortable situation now, but now you are breathing and you're taking control of your amygdala, and now you're thinking with your prefrontal cortex. And when you're doing that, you're becoming conscious. And when you become conscious, now you can look around, you can think, and you can act. And thinking, if you can think, you can respond more healthy ways. And that's where we change our behavior. We become conscious, we think, we breathe, we calm our amygdala, and then we think, act. This is some of the reasons why some leaders who lead great companies, they lead through the difficult times because they practice with their conscious mind. They think, they reason, and they follow. They discipline their mind, their body, and their spiritual self to go through any tough times. And if you can practice this, if you can practice and become more conscious, you can change your life too. So how do we change a behavior? The same way, just like how this girl changed her fear. She was afraid of water. What she did was she recognized there was some problem. That's the first thing. Recognize there is a problem. It's really important. So recognize there is a problem. Observe yourself. The more you observe yourself, the more you learn about yourself, and the more you will be able to change. Because observation allows you to see the problems. And when you see the problems, now you can seek answers. You can seek solutions. So find out, just observe when you go to school, when you answer, when you sing, when you talk, when you behave, when you sleep. Observe. Now don't observe when you sleep. You don't sleep. So observe yourself, and then start meditating. Start breathing from your diaphragm. Start meditating. Now you can do this when you walk. Take deep breath from your diaphragm and walk. Just observe. And do it continuously, just for half an hour daily. That's enough. Half an hour daily, and observe. Observe your language, how you speak, how you communicate, how you talk to people. Observe how you answer. Because I think most of the answers, I know how you want to influence others. I believe that you have the power to influence others. You have the power to encourage others. You have the power to transform others' lives. You have the power. You have that ability. And the only thing is, you need to take control of your life. Once you take control of your life, your personal life, now you have the power to not only change yourself, but to change others. So become conscious. Breathe. Take control of your amygdala. Do not let your amygdala to take control of you, because if it does, the problem is you just imagine when you see a lion, what would you do? You run away from it. This is one of the reasons why, when people are in a bad relationship, they get divorced. They never think and try to amend their problems. They never do. Why? Because threat means get away or fight. So the more you fight, the more you lose. Not only yourself, but your partner. So never fight, never run away. Observe, become conscious. And this is one of the reasons why becoming conscious is the best way you can use to change your life. So become conscious. And the next thing, once you become conscious, you can do, there are, several things that you do in order to change your behavior. Note down every behavior that you want to change. Now, don't go after all at once. Don't do that, because you might fail in almost all of them, and you think, oh my God, I have failed again. This is not working. No, don't do that. One at a time. Maybe quitting one habit at a time. Take it slowly. Take one step at a time. Maybe you just wanted to get rid of one word, one F word from your dictionary. Remove it. Use something else there. Remind yourself doing it. And the thing is that one transformation, that one change can completely change how you see the world. That one change. Because I have had evidences, testimonies of people who have changed their lives just by becoming conscious. Now, I call this method conscious information analysis. It means being conscious by analyzing the information, not by driven by your unconscious system, by analyzing it, understanding, reading the information, using both your language by asking questions or inquiring further questions, further details, and then understanding the environment. Listening, by understanding the environment and reading the emotions and body language. By analyzing that, you can become conscious and you can respond to any stimuli in a healthy way. You can do that. Now, does that mean that you have to do it all the time? No. There might be times when you want to be angry, when you want to be sad, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay to be sad, to be angry, but it's not okay to be angry all the time. It's not okay to be sad all the time. It's not okay to be desperate all the time. It's okay to be for some time because we are human beings. We feel, we have emotions. That is exactly what defines us human beings. So it's necessary to feel, to think, to feel emotions. But you don't need to be driven by those emotions. Driven by anger. Some people, when they're driven by rage, they kill each other. What do they gain? Nothing. They lose. But just, by becoming conscious, you can take control of your life, your personal life. Become conscious. So here is the thing you do. You note down all your fear, all your things, all your behaviors that you want to change. And then ask yourself, what is it that further I need to do? The process is all about just becoming conscious because you have the answers. I don't have any clear answers because I know how to change my behavior, but your behavior, it could be completely unique to you. There may be lots of preferences that, why you like certain things. And the best master is you. You are the best master. And this is one of the reasons why you need to first observe yourself. And that's how you take control of yourself. Because you are the master. So observe, note down all the behaviors that you have. And then follow the meditation. Take a deep breath. Change one behavior at a time. One decision at a time. One habit at a time. And if you can do that, you can change your life. And it will change your life too.